I like food, sometimes a little too much. I like Pokemon, and once again, sometimes just a little too much also. So I thought to myself, why not fuse these two things together and play through Pokémon Scarlet using only food. As usual, I'll be playing through using hardcore Nuzlocke rules that's shown on the screen now. And to add some more spice to the challenge, I've been terrestrializing my Pokemon and setup moves as they make the game way too easy. The starter options we have are actually pretty interesting. Fuecoco is first up, and you see I'm from Australia, so eating a crocodile is actually pretty common for where I'm from. But it's not really known for being a food, so we'll pass on him. Sprigatito is a cat, and well, yeah, maybe someone around the world would eat one, but not me. Last we have Quaxley, the duck, and roast duck is actually quite delicious, so the choice was pretty simple. Welcome to the team, Ramsey. But we don't stop there, ladies and gentlemen, as just a little further ahead, we can run into this lovely Lechonk, who we can catch and name as one of my favorite foods, bacon. With a team of 2, the time has come to progress through the game and head to Mesagoza. Well, that was the plan until Lamona decided to stop us for a battle. Ramsey's in charge, and back-to-back water guns from our duck can dismantle a baby crocodile. Wow, doing even better than I expected. You're legit, Tic Tac. Yeah, you must have some pretty low expectations if me using a water type to beat your fire type Pokemon was impressive. Poor me is next in, and Ramsey can go for a water gun, which doesn't even do half its health of damage. Meanwhile, a super effective terrestrialized Thunder Shock hits Ramsey insanely hard, leaving him low. Bacon has to switch in, and of course, we get hit with a critical hit as we enter the battlefield. A second Thunder Shock then comes our way, leaving our pig on just 4 HP before we can go for a tackle, securing the win with a big critical hit. A critical hit? Wow, nice one. I have a hard time landing those even when I try. You literally just landed a critical hit on Bacon as soon as he came in. Anyway, Nemona is defeated and we can make our way to the academy to collect our missions. First up, we have Titan Hunting from Arvin, giving us the Path of Legends quest. Nemona then asks us to defeat all the gym leaders, the Victory Road quest. Then I get sidetracked with this fella. Whoa, thanks for coming to say bonjour. Nah mate, I'm just getting a closer look at your haircut. I think the barber did those lines a little too thick. Last but not least, we have Cassiopeia, who wants us to dismantle Team Star, the Starfall Street quest. And now, we are free to do as we please. So off to Contondo City we go to take on the gym leader. Well, actually, there were a few things I did first. Before I even left Mesagoza, I make a quick stop to the Delibird shop, purchasing a Mystic Water for Ramsey. Then we go on a bit of a journey, and then on this small boat here, I can find the TM for Surf, which is huge. Finally, we continue our adventure, going all the way to the snowy regions of Paldea just to get our hands on a modest mint, which will boost our special attack stat. Okay, let's take on Katie. Katie starts off with a nimble, but one surf from Ramsey washes away the bug. Tarantula is next in, and just barely survives the surf before hitting us with a bug bite for minimal damage. We then follow up with an Aqua Jet, ending the spider's life. Last is Teddiursa, so we stick to the plan, going for a surf on the bear before a Fury Cutter brings us low. Thankfully, we're now in Torrent range, which is Quaxley's ability, allowing him to boost water type moves by 50% if his HP is low enough, meaning our next serve can comfortably take out the Teddiursa, giving us the win. Also, straight after the battle, Ramsey can evolve, becoming an even bigger duck. Before we leave the area, there is one Pokemon I want to find, Smoliv. We were in need for some greens, so it only makes sense to add it to the team. Clorf is now our main objective, so we make our way to the giant crab and find him chilling on a cliff. Once we're close enough, the crab jumps off and attacks us. Ramsey once again is in charge, taking a rock smash with ease before a single serve can obliterate the crab, forcing it to flee for its life. But it isn't getting away from us that easily as we follow him down, watch him eat some herbs, which power him up, and then we start round 2. And well, not much really changes, as a few more serves from Ramsey can land, finishing off the giant claw for good this time. Hey, just quickly, I wanted to pause the video to thank you all for the support you've been showing. And if you have been enjoying the videos I've been putting out, I'd love if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. And next up is none other than Artisan City, where we can find another gym leader, Brassius. But before we go to take him on, I think we need to add some dessert to our team of food. The first thing we do is go and have some spicy potatoes at the local cafe here. Then we head to this big tree, which is not too far away from Contondo City, and then ram into it with Koraidon, causing a Pokemon to fall fall out, in particular, Applin. Oh, and by the way, the reason why we ate the spicy potatoes beforehand is because it increases the chances of finding dragon-type Pokemon. So we catch the apple, and then we have just one last thing to do, and that is to go all the way to the tag tree thicket and pick up items until we finally find a sweet apple. With this apple, we can now evolve Applin into an Appleton, which is just perfect. Okay, let's beat up Brassius. Well, he's Pokemon, not him. Apple leads away, and a Pounce can delete about half of the Pettitill's health, while a Mega Drain practically does no damage after Leftover's recovery. Another Pounce from Apple Pie can then take out the Pettitille. Smoliver's next in, and it's almost one-shotted from a Pounce, but it does survive and hits back with a tackle, which tickles before a second Pounce can take it out. Last is his Sudowoodo, and a Pounce doesn't do too much damage, but a Tri-Blaze literally does 5 HP worth of damage back to us. We trade blows for a while, but eventually Apple Pie comes out victorious with one final Pounce, setting the Sudowoodo back to Brassius. Straight after that battle, Bacon does evolve into a nice, thick, juicy Oinkalong. Great, now I'm feeling hungry. Bombardier is now causing havoc, dropping boulders down a mountain, and I'm ready to put an end to that. But before we punish the bird, I feel like adding some more food to the party. Clorf just so happens to be exactly what I need, so we catch him and I add him to the team. And before you start saying that Clorf is not a crab you can eat, please explain what this is. Clorf al Alijo. Thank you. With some seafood in our team, we can now make our way up the mountain, skillfully avoiding the boulders, and go face to face with the open sky Titan. And for Krabby Patty, this was a cinch. Phase 1, we can simply rock tomb the stalk a couple of times, crushing it to the point that it retreats. In the second phase, well, nothing really changes, as Krabby Patty just keeps going for rock tombs, although this time it does take 3 of them to secure the kill on the Titan. Yep, it was that easy. Teamstar probably thinks it's safe, but I think it's about time we pay these thugs a visit. Okay, maybe calling them thugs is a bit extreme, but you get the point. Giacomo's the first one on my list to take out, but before we start the raid, we go on a hunt and we get ourselves a Brick Break TM, which is super effective against his dark type Pokemon. From here, we enter the base, take out some of his grunts, and then take on the boss, Giacomo. Pawn Knight is a waste of time, as a single quite effective Brick Break from Krabby Patty obliterates a little guy. In comes a Starmobile, who annoyingly intimidates us, dropping our attack, so I bring in Apple Pie, who can dodge the Metal Sound as he comes in. This time a Metal Sound does land, dropping our special defense, but we stay on the attack, going for a Pounce, which can also drop the car's speed. A Snarl comes our way, which we take well, before pouncing the car again, dealing damage and slowing it down further. We continue to pounce the car until we get low on health and then bring Krabby Patty back in. 3 Brick Breaks from our crab is enough for us to destroy the car and get the win over Giacomo. Our next destination is Lavencia City, as this is where we can find Iono, who holds the electric badge. But upon entering the gym, Nemona wants to have a little battle first, so let's deal with that quickly. Rockruff is drowned by a surf, Poor Me is drowned by a surf. Krakola actually survives the first surf, but can be washed away in the second turn with ease. Honestly, that battle was a joke. Iono is now the priority, so we waste no time and we take on the local streamer. Things start off great, with a rock tomb ending the life of Iono's watch roll. Bellybolt is next in, and expecting a water gun, Apple Pie makes his way in to take the hit. A spark comes our way, but it tickles our dragon before we can successfully land a leech seed on the frog. From here, Apple Pie and Bellybolt can trade blows before a bullet seed can send the frog to the afterlife. Luxio comes in and gets off an Intimidate, dropping our attack, but the strategy does not change as we leech seed the cat and then start taking it out with bullet seeds. Last is Race Miss Magius, who can terrestrialize and then confuse Apple Pie with the Confuse Ray, which ultimately makes us hit ourselves with confusion. Not liking this, Krabby Patty makes a return, taking a Hex as he comes in. The electrical ghost then goes for a Confuse Ray on the crab, but thankfully he remains focused, landing a Rock Tomb, doing good damage, but also slowing it down. Bacon can now come in for free, as the Hex has no effect, and then body slams this thing into the next dimension, defeating Iono once and for all. Teamstar, once again, is now on top of my list, with the 5 base being the unlucky ones I plan to visit. All we need to do is collect the Rain Dance TM, which is just outside the base, and now we're ready for Mela. Torkoal comes out, setting up the sun with his Drought ability, but Ramsey uses his first move to go for a Rain Dance, removing the sun and making it rain. Torkoal then hits Ramsey with a Clear Smog for okay damage, before a surf from our duck can end the turtle's life. Mela is desperate, bringing in her car, who screeches at Ramsey, dropping our defense, while we go on the attack with a huge surf, deleting half its HP. A blazing torque comes our way, but we eat the hit well, and then we send the car to the junkyard with a second surf, securing the win over Mela. Titan hunting is now our priority, with the lurking still Titan needing to be dealt with. However, I think we should add another team member first. After a short search, we find ourselves what looks like a bird, Capsicid. Then we get our hands on a Firestone, which can be used to evolve Carolina into a powerful Scorvillion. Okay, let's go take on that Metal Slug. Carolina shows her power, going for an insane flamethrower, melting the worm in a single hit. The Titan does try its best to escape our wrath, but we weren't having any of that as we chase it down and we start the second phase. Our flamethrower still does unbelievable damage to the Orthworm, and we can slay the Titan with just 2 of them, giving us the win. The tropical city of Cascarafa is our next destination, although before we can take on the big fella Kofu, we need some seaweed for the very low price of $35,000? I feel like someone is getting ripped off here. Well, that's not my problem. I do also go to the Delibird store, as it is here where I can purchase a miracle seed, which will boost our grass attacks. Kofi makes his way out, full of confidence, but that's going to change real quick. Veluza is his lead, and he can hit Apple Pie with a pluck for decent damage, but an Apple Acid from our Pie can one-shot the fish. Now it's Wog Trio, who goes for a headbutt, bringing us into the orange, before being Apple Acid to death by Apple Pie. Last is his main man, Crabobnable, who will miss his slam, while we can heal ourselves up with Recover. This time our slam does not miss, but we do take the hit well, before an Apple Acid can melt its way through the crab. It tries to stop us, but it misses yet another slam, while we can end the life of Kofu's ace with one final Apple Acid. If there's one thing food doesn't mix well with, it's poison. So our next fight against Atticus and his poison crew is kinda personal. Although before we deal with him, we have some things we can do first. Starting off by getting a new Pokemon, Spoink. Then we evolve this little guy into a thick looking Grumpig. The last thing we need to do is grab the substitute TM from here, and now we're ready. Ham beats his way through the Grunt's Pokemon and then watches as Atticus comes out on his Starmobile ready to battle. Skuntank starts off going for a Sucker Punch, which fails as our boy Ham uses Substitute. We then protect on the next turn to help with HP recovery and waste the Skuntank Sucker Punch PP. On the next turn, a Sucker Punch does land, which also breaks the Substitute we had up, but we can also hit it back with a super effective Mud Shot, dealing good damage while slowing it down. The Sucker Punch will fail this time as we set up with another Substitute, and then we continue to protect just to waste all his Sucker Punch PP and leave us relatively healthy thanks to our leftovers. From here we can Mud Shot the Skuntank, dealing some good damage while dropping its speed further, and his Venoshock is not enough to break our sub. One more Mud Shot can land, putting an end to Atticus' first Pokemon. Riverfrom now comes out, and this thing can break our sub with a Sludge Bomb, which is fine, as a Mud Shot can hit the car, dealing insane damage and slowing it down. We now outspeed and go for another Mud Shot, sending the car packing. Muck is in next, and we start off with a Substitute, which pays off as an incoming Sludge Wave can hit the sub, but it's not enough to break it. We protect to get some vital HP back with leftovers, and then on the next turn, go for a Side Beam on the Muck, dealing about half its health of damage. A second Sludge Wave does break the Substitute, but it's okay, as we can set up a fresh one on the next turn, who takes another Sludge Wave, but remains intact. We continue to protect between turns to stay healthy, and then we can eliminate the pile of gunk with a second Side Beam. Last is the Starmobile, and as usual, we go for a Protect to get some extra HP recovery, and then a Flame Charge comes our way, breaking our sub, while we can deal some damage back with a Side Beam. A Noxious Torque now comes our way, which hits hard and annoyingly poisons our pig, who can respond with a second Side Beam, bringing the car to about half its HP. For some reason it goes for a Flame Charge, while we stay aggressive with another Side Beam, putting the car on its last legs, wheels, I guess. At this point, I made a miscalculation, staying in and allowing Hand to go down to a Noxious Torque from the car, losing him forever. Krabby Patty makes his way in and gets hit with a spin out for decent damage, which slows the car down, while a Rock Tomb brings the car into the red, slowing it down further. We still don't outspeed, getting hit with another spin out, and a second Rock Tomb literally leaves the thing on 1 HP. I mean, you can barely even see anything in the HP bar. This time we do outspeed and go for a Brick Break, crushing the car once and for all, and defeating Atticus. With a new level cap of 36, we can make some pretty important evolutions, starting with Salad, who becomes an Arbolivia, and then even more exciting is Ramsey, who evolves into his final form, Quacklevel. Up next, we have to deal with Larry and his normal types, so to prepare for that, we can purchase a black belt, which will boost our fighting moves. Now, we simply order some food at the restaurant here, which for some reason will make Larry want to fight us. Anyway, my boss will dock my pay if I spend too much time chit-chatting. Sheesh, Gita, you gotta chill out every once in a while, hey? The fight starts off, and Ramsey goes for a low kick, which leaves a koala on a slither, allowing it to hit us back with a yawn, making us drowsy. Not wanting to fall asleep, Salad comes in, and this koala somehow reads the play, going for another yawn. So Ramsey comes back in once again, and then for whatever reason, it expected to swap as it goes for another yawn. So it's Salad who makes a return, and finally he goes for a slam, which kinda hurts. The koala then goes for a second slam, and it gets a crit, bringing Salad all the way down to 1 HP. From here we just Giga Drain it, putting it out of its misery. Next is the Dunsparce, so I switch in Apple Pie, who gets hit with a glare, getting paralyzed. The Dunsparce then does big damage with a Hyper Drill, while we can respond with a Leech Seed, which can recover some of our HP back from the snake. Another Hyper Drill does hit us hard, but we survive it and land an Apple Acid, dealing big damage back while dropping its special defense. This time we go for a Protect, but I forgot that Hyper Drill can still go through, almost taking us out for the count. Krabby Patty now makes his way in, eating a Hyper Drill with absolute ease and fully recovering thanks to the leftovers and Leech Seed. Our Crab then goes for a Brick Break, eliminating the Dunsparce from the fight. Last is Larrysteraptor, who comes in and intimidates us, dropping our attack, but even so, we stay in, taking facades with ease and dealing damage back with some big super effective Brick Breaks. 2 more Brick Breaks can hit the bird and send it straight back to Larry, giving us the win and another gym badge. As soon as we leave the restaurant, we're ambushed by Nimona, so let's deal with her quickly. Starting with Lycanroc, Ramsey can take a quick attack comfortably before Aqua Stepping the Rocky Wolf to its death. Pawmo is now in, but an Aqua Step dismantles the rodent easily. Now it's Gumi who drops in, and a low kick does a lot less than expected, allowing the slimy dragon to hit us hard with a Dragon Pulse. We respond with an Aqua Step on the next turn, and it can finish the job for us. Last is a Crocodile Skeledirge, who actually does survive a super effective Aqua Step from Ramsey, but we also survive a Talk Song, allowing us to crush the crocodile on the next turn with a second Aqua Step. Our journey now takes us all the way back to the Snowy Mountains, where the city of Montenevera is located, as this is where we can find the next gym leader, Rhyme. I lead with Krabby Patty and Salad, and we start off strong with a big Shadow Claw hitting the Banette. Our Slash comes our way, but we take the hit well before an Icy Wind hits us both, dropping our speed. Salad can then finish off the Banette with a Giga Drain, ending the turn. Rhyme now brings in Houndstone, and then the crowd goes wild, boosting our attacking stats. Mimikyu can then hit Krabby Patty for tiny damage with a Shadow Sneak, while the Houndstone can disappear with a Phantom Force, allowing the dog to dodge both our attacks. Mimikyu then sets up a light screen, which is fine, as Houndstone hits Krabby Patty with a Phantom Force, but we take the hit well. We stay aggressive with a Shadow Claw from our Crab, followed up with a Giga Drain from Salad, which is enough to eliminate the Houndstone. Rhyme then brings in her last Pokemon Toxtricity, and then she terrestrializes the lizard. Mimikyu then goes for a Shadow Sneak on Krabby Patty, and then a Discharge from Toxtricity can hit everyone, bringing us low, but also breaking Mimikyu's disguise. A Rock Slide can then take out the Mimikyu and damage Toxtricity, while a Giga Drain is enough to finish off Toxtricity, taking care of Rhyme's last 2 Pokemon and getting us another gym badge. After freezing ourselves in the snow, we need to warm up, so off to the desert we go. And it just so happens that this is where the next Titan is located, the Great Tusk. Although Apple Pie can make quick work of this oversized elephant with a couple of Giga Drains, ending the first phase rather quickly. The next phase is not much more exciting, as Giga Drains still deal big damage to the Titan, and we can send it straight back to Area 0 with the help of Ivan Scorvillian, finishing it off with a Razor Leaf. Our Fanata City is where we can find the next gym leader, but of course, as soon as we enter the gym, Nimona decides that she wants a taste of my Pokemon first, so let's not disappoint our rival. Lycanroc gets Giga Drain to oblivion, Sliggoo then gets Body Slammed not once, but twice from Bacon, Apple Pie then Giga Drains at Pawmot, allowing Ramsey to come in, taking a quick attack, and then Aqua Stepping the rodent to death. Finally, it's a Skeledirge, who is Aqua Step twice, and well, that's all there is to it. You tried your best, Nimona. Tulip is now within our grasp, and we want that badge, so let's go get it. Salad is going to be the star of the show, dodging a Zen headbutt from Farigiraf before landing a Leech Seed. The Giraffe then sets up a Reflect, which is fine, as a Giga Drain takes away half its health. This time the Zen headbutt does hit, but it's okay, as a second Giga Drain can take it out. Gardevoir then goes for a Psychic, which hurts a bit, but a Giga Drain can hit it back while healing us back up. Unfortunately, the Grassy Terrain does heal it back up a bit also, meaning we take another Psychic from the Fairy, while a second Giga Drain is just short from the KO. We protect to maximize our HP recovery we get, and then we just take another hit from the Gardevoir before using one more Giga Drain to end its life. Espartha is next in, going for a Psychic also, while a Giga Drain does big damage while also keeping us healthy. We protect between turns, getting some more HP back, and then take another Psychic from the Emu before Giga Draining the last of its HP. Finally, in comes a Florges, who hits us with a Moonblast for decent damage, but we land the Leech Seed, which all but guarantees the win. After a bit of stalling tactics, the Florges has the life sucked out of her, literally, which gives us a rather comfortable win over Tulip. Don't go uploading that selfie we just took on social media, okay? You mean this selfie, Tulip? We now have 7 gym badges, and all that's left for us to do is head back to the snowy region of Paldea, slide down between some flags gracefully, and then take on the final gym leader, Grusha, and his ice types. Ramsey can acrobatics his icy bug to oblivion. Beartech is next in, although it's nothing a low kick can't deal with. See, Titan is a thick boy, but the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Last is his Ace Altaria, and this thing is too light for a low kick to deal any real damage, but thankfully, we can just barely survive the incoming hurricane from the Icy Dragon. Krabby Patty then enters the field and drops a pile of rock on the terrestrialized cloud, defeating Grusha and of course, obtaining the last gym badge. The Pokémon League is now available, and as much as I'd love to beat up the Elite Four, we do have some unfinished business to deal with first, starting with Team Star and their fairy leader, Ortega. Bacon is in the league and can yawn a Zoomerl, making it drowsy, while the rabbit hits back with a Play Rough. This time we go for a Body Slam, dealing good damage, but paralyzing the Pokemon, which normally is fantastic, but not when it was about to fall asleep. A second Play Rough lands, and our pick is brought down to the brink of death. Salad takes his place, nimbly avoiding the upcoming Play Rough upon coming in. Then he outspeeds, and a Giga Drain can finish off Ortega's first Pokemon. Now it's Wigglytuff, who hits pretty hard with a Play Rough, and can even dodge my Leech Seed. A second Play Rough brings us pretty low, but we successfully land the Leech Seed on the Wigglytuff, which, when paired up with a Protect, can heal a ton of health back to us thanks to the grassy terrain and leftovers. Play Rough still hurt a lot, but with a big Giga Drain, Wigglytuff is brought down to the red, and it just barely hangs on after the Leech Seed damage. But we simply protect on the next turn, and we let the Leech Seed suck the remaining life out of it. Dashbun makes an appearance, and it goes for a Baby Doll Eyes, dropping our attack, which is fine, as we can get the Leech Seed to hit the dog. A couple of Giga Drains later, with the help of the Leech Seed, can put down the dog in this fight. Last is a Starmobile, and we just continue to Giga Drain our way through this fight over and over, until finally we take the car out of commission and defeat that spoiled brat Ortega. Before we take on the last Team Star boss, Eerie, I want to wrap things up with the Titans, as there's just one more left to slay. So we track down the False Dragon Titan, and watch as the giant Dodonzo shows its face. Apple Pie wants to have some fun, so we can lead, and all it takes is a couple of big Giga Drains from our dessert to send the Titan packing in the first phase. The second phase begins now, but this time I have Salad take the lead, and just like the previous fight, it only takes a couple of Giga Drains, with the help of Arvin Strident doing takedowns, before we can suck the life out of this big fish and send it to its watery grave for good. The Tactigear is not happy and decides it wants to have a go at taking us on. Salad can just Leech Seed this tiny dragon and then stay aggressive with Giga Drains until eventually we have sucked the life out of it completely. It drowns in the water, and that is the end of the last Titan we needed to defeat. Our last task is to raid the final Team Star base, but I wanted to get a little help to make this a bit easier. Not far from the last fight, we find ourselves a bunch of Slowpoke, so we catch one and we add it to the team. And before you ask, yes, Slowpoke is food. You see, Slowpoke tails have been a delicacy all the way back in Generation 2 in Pokemon Gold and Silver. Plus, it's in plenty of recipes throughout the Pokemon series, so yeah, welcome to the team, Grilled Tail. Eerie comes out on a Starmobile, looking pretty mean, but we ain't phased at all. She leads with a Toxicroak, who I know will want to go for a Sucker Punch, which will fail as I use a substitute on my turn. The Sucker Punch fails for a second time now as we go for a Yawn, making the frog drowsy. The Sucker Punch fails again because we go for a Slack Off, healing our remaining HP, and then watch as it falls asleep. Now we can go on the attack, and a quad effective Psychic absolutely destroys the frog. Passy Man hops in next, going for a Rock Tomb, but the substitute stays strong while we can Yawn at the monkey. A Seed Bomb will now destroy the substitute, which is okay as we can follow up with a Psychic, which actually eliminates it from the fight. Lucario is a special attacker, so I switch in Carolina to take the Dark Pulse on the switch, and then she can just flamethrower the dog to its demise. Annihilape is quite menacing, but it's a job for Grilled Tail as he comes back in, taking a close combat very well. A Rage Fist comes our way, which we take well, and then thanks to the defense drop from the close combat, a Psychic can take out the angry monkey. Getting desperate, Eerie now brings in a car to start fighting. A high horsepower can do minimal damage to us, while a Psychic deletes more than half of the Starmobile's health. This time it goes for a shift gear, but that means nothing to me as a second Psychic lands, crushing the car and getting the win. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come for us to finally take on the Pokémon League, so let's make our way there. Our first hurdle is Rika, the ground specialist, although calling her a hurdle is a bit of an exaggeration. She leads with Wishcash, who can hit Salad with a Blizzard before we can respond with a huge quad effective Giga Drain, one-shotting her first Pokemon and healing us up. As expected, Camera Up comes in next, but even this thing can do nothing but fall to a Giga Drain from Salad. Now it's Donphan, who hits hard with a Poison Jab, and because it has Sturdy, we go for a Leak Seed, which lands and saps some of his health. We then Protect to maximize the amount of HP recovery we can receive before taking another Poison Jab to the face. From here, Salad can go for a Giga Drain, eliminating the elephant. Dugtrio makes his way in, setting up a Sandstorm, which is fine, while Salad just Giga Drains it to its demise. Last is Erased Clodsire, which could have been an issue if it was still part Poison type, but it's not, and a Giga Drain can secure the win over Rika. Our next challenger makes her way through the door, and it's just a toddler. Poppy uses Steel types, so the plan is simple. I'm going to melt through her entire team. I give Carolina the Metronome item to hold, which makes moves more powerful when used consecutively, and we begin the battle. Corporaja is flamethrowered to death, Corviknight is flamethrowered to death, Bronzong is flamethrowered to death, Magnezone does survive thanks to Sturdy, which then allows the Magnet to set up with a light screen before eventually going down. Last is a Tinkaton, who does survive the flamethrower thanks to the light screen, but it can miss a Stone Edge, meaning on the next turn, we can get the kill. Larry now makes his way through the doors, and he has ditched the normal types, and now has a team of flying Pokemon. Tropius leads away, going for a Sunny Day, while Grilled Tail counters with a Trick Room, allowing slower Pokemon to go first. Grilled Tail then goes for an Ice Beam, ending the life of the flying plant. Staraptor is next in, but also shares the same fate, going down to an Ice Beam. Altaria is 4 times weak to an Ice Beam, so yeah, this thing is dead. Oricorio also comes in, only to be sent to an early grave with an Ice Beam. The Trick Room does end, meaning we're no longer attacking first, as Larry brings in his final Pokemon, Flamingo. It goes for a Brave Bird, which we take well, then Grilled Tail can end the life of the fighting bird with one last Ice Beam, defeating Larry for the last time. Gita's last line of defense is Hassel, who comes out with a team of Dragon Pokemon to try and stop us. A Super Feint from Noivern actually misses, and Grilled Tail can take this opportunity to send the Wyvern to its death with a quad effective Ice Beam. Dragalge comes in next, so Apple Pie tags in, eating the Thunderbolt with ease, and then takes big damage from a Sludge Bomb before leaving the Poisonous Dragon in the red from a Dragon Pulse. Needing to switch, Krabby Patty makes his way to the battlefield, taking a Sludge Bomb fairly well, and then just goes for a Rock Slide, taking it out. Now it's Haxorus, so Salad switches in, taking the Iron Head, while a Dragon Claw comes our way, which hurts, but we can get the Leak Sheet off, which is huge. Krabby Patty makes another appearance, but a Dragon Claw hurts a bit too much, so Salad comes back in, taking another Iron Head, and then a Dragon Claw, before a Dazzling Gleam can eliminate the Haxorus from the fight. Flapple shows its face, but it misses the Dragon Rush, making it another easy KO for Salad to secure. Last is his Ace Excalibur, who looks pretty mean, but we know an Ice move is coming, so Grilled Tail switches in and is tickled by the hit. Then he can eat up a Glaive Rush like it's nothing, and because he used Glaive Rush, he takes more damage, meaning a single Ice Beam can land, securing the kill and getting the win over Hassel. And that's the Elite Four done and dusted. time to take on the champ. Geeta starts a fight with their Emu Espartha, who sets up a reflect while Salad goes for a Giga Drain on the bird. A Lumina Crash comes our way, which does hurt, but not as much as a second Giga Drain, eliminating the Emu. Avalon drops it next, so Grilled Tail tags himself in, taking a body press like a champ. Our Psychic is close to the KO, but it does survive, allowing it to hit us with an avalanche before a second Psychic can finish off the job. King Gambit looks pretty strong, so Ramsey enters the fray, having no problem taking the Kauto Cleave and then low-kicking the King Gambit to the afterlife. Gogoda is no real threat either, as Carolina can make the switch, taking a Horn Leech with ease. A Flamethrower doesn't quite do enough to get the kill, but it foolishly goes for a bulk up, so we can burn it to a crisp in the next turn. Now it's Veluza, so Salad comes back in, getting tickled by liquidation from the fish. On the next turn, we're hit with a big Ice Fang, which annoyingly flinches, and then we get hit with another Ice Fang, and this time we're frozen solid. Grilled Tail makes his way back in, taking an Ice Fang easily, and then a liquidation before we can yawn at the fish, making it drowsy. Another liquidation comes our way, which is fine, as we can get off the Trick Room, making slower Pokemon go first, and then we watch as the Veluza falls asleep. I let Apple Pie get some love, coming in and Giga Draining the Veluza straight back to Geeta. Last is Erase Glamora, and a Giga Drain is agonizingly close to getting the KO, but it does survive, and an incoming Sledge Wave doesn't quite take us out either, so we follow up with one more Giga Drain, defeating Geeta, and becoming champion. Hold up, don't go anywhere just yet. You should know by now that we still have Professor Sada and her Paradox Pokemon to exterminate. Now, in order for us to even get to Area 0, we need to wrap up a few quests that were given to us at the beginning of the game. So by taking on and defeating Arvin and his Mobostiff, we can complete the Path of Legends quest. Then we have Director Clavel and his Meowscarada, followed up by Penny and her Sylveon that need to be beaten, completing the Starfall Street quest. Finally, we can take on Lamona in the middle of Messagoza, defeating her and her Skeledirge, which wraps up the Victory Road questline. From here, we can simply head to the center of Paldea, then we jump on my Koraidon with the rest of the gang and fly down to Area 0. We keep going down until finally we reach the Professor's lab, who, as we all know, is actually an AI robot. Then she leads us to the deepest part of Area 0, where the final battle can begin. Ramsey's in the lead, and a quad effective acrobatics absolutely destroys the Slitherwing in a single hit. Screamtail is the next Pokemon, so Grilled Tail comes in, and he can take the play rough well. We trade blows with a Jigglypuff from Temu, and then on the third Shadow Ball, the pink Puff is eliminated from the game. Fluttermane is a threat, but I can get Salad in for free as it goes for a Shadow Ball. Then we get hit with a Mystical Fire, which is not too bad, but it does drop our special attack. Thankfully, we do land a Leech Seed on the Ghost, which can slowly drain its health. We protect between turns and go for Giga Drains until eventually we're too low to stay in. Hello, it's just me. I should probably clarify, when I said we're too low to stay in, I'm talking about our special attack was dropped too much from the Mystical Fire and not our HP. Okay, let's get back to the video. And Ramsey can come in, taking a Mystical Fire, and then watch as the Leech Seed finishes off the job for us. Sandy Shocks now shows itself, so Apple Pie can drop in and get tickled with the discharge. The Deformed Magnet then goes for a Power Gem, which we take well, as a Giga Drain can deal damage while healing us back up. A second Power Gem can land, but we're not phased, going for our second Giga Drain, taking it out. Brooponet is next in, so Carolina can make the switch for free as a Sucker Punch fails. It then goes for another Sucker Punch, which does land this time as we go for a Flamethrower, but it doesn't do enough damage to get the kill. I bring Salad back in for free as a Sucker Punch fails again, and then it takes a Sucker Punch on the chin before we can Dazzly Gleam this thing to the Shadow Realm. Last but not least is a Roaring Moon, who looks vicious as ever and even hits us hard with a Dragon Claw, but our vegetable survives and responds with a 4 times effective Dazzling Gleam, sending this thing straight back to the past and getting us the win over Professor Sada. And that is that, ladies and gentlemen. We have defeated the game using just food Pokemon. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.